We're starting spring ball earlier this year for a couple of reasons. One, we want to spread it out over 5 weeks, which will give our players more time in between practices. You go 4 weeks or 3.5 weeks, you're going to have to do a number of days back to back, and we feel it will be more advantageous for them to have a day off in between every contact session than going back to back on days. Number two, we want to take advantage of the teaching time. We are going to meet our kids Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We're going to practice our gang on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. We're going to take full advantage of these 5 weeks and really emphasize teaching on both meeting days as well as practice days. In order to do that, we had to start our off season a week earlier. So when I say off season, I'm talking about on-field conditioning drills with coaches, not just the strength staff. And we got to that the week after signing day. Finished up this morning with a 6 a.m. workout, our 7th off-season workout, leading us right into spring practice tomorrow morning. You're always asking about position changes, so I want to make sure I'm very thorough with you there. I've got somewhat of a lengthy list, more so than usual. Quan Floyd, we've discussed before, is going to move from free safety to strong safety. Darius Lee Campbell is going to go from quarterback to wide receiver. Cole Anderson is going to go from O-line to tight end. Josh Jollis, free safety, is going to play nickel for us this spring. Ken Davis, a former tight end, is going to play D-end. Zach Sampson and Brian Bonacci are going to go from linebacker to fullback, both of them. And Trevor Ryan, a former defensive back, also running track for us right now, is going to play wide receiver this spring. He's doing very well. He'll be in a blue jersey tomorrow. You'll see him on the practice field. He will remain in a blue jersey, which means protected, a player that we don't hit. He'll remain in a blue jersey all spring, but I anticipate him being active all 15 days. Mike is a guy that we believe is going to be a 200-pound plus back, which is where we want to be with our backs, where we haven't been with numbers in the past. Martinez, we'd like to see pushing 215, 220 by the time it's all said and done. Martinez is going to be a guy, and I'm going to throw him into the conversation for you, that's going to drop his shoulder as well as being able to shift and make a guy miss. Martinez has thought more so in the past that he's just shift and make a guy miss, and we got to get him running behind his pads and downhill. Mike and Tyler are both explosive in that they can do that too, push a pile a little bit. But they're guys that we want to see really utilize their foot speed, their quickness, and their overall speed. And they've shown that in the off-season stuff that we push through, especially Tyler Brown. Tyler Brown will go into spring ball as #1, and if his off-season is any indication, he'll be working hard not to give that up. He's at an exceptional off-season. Just being realistic, it's a task that is insurmountable. You talk about a guy who's an all Big 12 player. Performed from what I witnessed and was told well in what he did at the NFL Combine. Certainly a guy that's going to be on somebody's NFL roster. We don't have that guy on campus. We don't have that guy on our roster. We don't have him coming in. So it's a matter of what we're doing with that position and utilizing some bodies in that spot. For example, DeVario Montgomery might line up at that spot where we used EJ flexed out, where we can use a Cole Anderson or a Ben Bozen when we're more in a traditional spot where EJ was also located. So we're going to committee that a little bit. Obviously, we've moved some guys with Cole being a primary, and Scotty Schaffner becomes more of a factor for us right now, coming off his red shirt, and anxious to see him get out there and see if he takes advantage of this opportunity to compete. When you say more, the first thing that I'd address with that is we want to be better at knocking people off the ball. Part of the offense by design under Mark's philosophy, and I'll use some of his terms, as we move more laterally, is to puncture people. And that's part of his own philosophy. You get people moving left and right, you wear them out as the game goes along, whether it's with bubble passes or perimeter runs or fast tempo. And as you do that, holes start to open up, and fast backs, quick backs puncture through the line and get into the second level, get into the open field. We want to continue to do that. At the same time, we want to knock some people off the ball. And when we want to create our own real estate, our own space, we want to be able to do that. We're trying to get the people in the right positions, interior-wise, center and guards, and then exterior at the tackle spots, to find our best five, our right five, if you will, to get that accomplished. In lots of ways, plays that we're not having to talk about quarterback controversy or anything of that nature. Sam is clearly established as our starting quarterback, and I would argue that he has the opportunity to be top 3 in this league as we go into the 2015 season. He's experienced, he's skillful. He's going to be smarter with this offense as he goes into his second spring of running it. I think his leadership abilities that he's demonstrating are at an all-time high. He's still not 100% coming off that shoulder, so we're anxious to get him out there throwing on an everyday basis and see if that even helps it come along a little bit more. He can deliver the ball. He can run with it, and he can execute what we need to do as 11 to be effective as an offense. And having that in place day one, and everybody aware of that, is extremely important to an offense and a team success at any level.